through something so hard. And during this time, like, keep in mind, guys, I was in high school. I was getting ready to graduate. Graduation is a big deal for everyone. But for me, it was an even more big deal because from when I was in fifth grade all the way until high school, every teacher, every counselor told me and my mom that I would not make it, that I would not graduate, and that I need to be held back. So when it got closer to graduation, I felt like I kind of needed my mama. I definitely need her a lot more because I need her to push me, and I wanted to make her proud so she can see me walk across that stage doing something that people put in both of our heads that I would not be able to do. So that kind of troubled me a little bit, and I had to really do some deep soul searching for me to get to stage 5, which is acceptance. But I feel like now that I accepted, she is showing me more and more that she's with me, because I felt like in the beginning she couldn't really show it because I wouldn't have believed it, and I would have got angry, and I would have got more depressed. I went through depression as well. My depression it wasn't just for like a day or a couple weeks or on and off. I was in deep dark depression for years. I lost a lot of my hair. My weight was up and down, majority up, and then kind of went down. It was just all over the place. I had a allergic reaction to what we thought was a peanut allergy, but to the specialist, like, I don't even know if she's called a specialist, but it's where you go to find out what you're allergic to, and they kind of do that testing and poke you with all those different types of allergies, and whatever like floats up on your skin is what you're allergic to. She told me and my grandmother that it was not a peanut allergy, it was due to stress and depression. And I was like, what? I didn't even know that could happen, because literally I had knots all over my body. My throat was closing. I couldn't breathe. I was constantly itching. It got bad to where I needed an EpiPen, and I had to have an EpiPen with me everywhere I go. And for a short minute of a time, because they thought it was a peanut allergy, I had to stop eating stuff with peanuts. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a peanut allergy, power to you, because I love me some peanut butter. And I had to stop eating peanut butter for like the longest time.
Guys, that is so true. She puts peanut butter on everything.
It goes on everything. Your ice cream, your freaking pancakes, everything. I'm a peanut butter fanatic, so just imagine how that hurted me, knowing that I had a peanut allergy, so they say. And just like me and Corinne, we were talking earlier, how, like, to me, I felt like she dealt with her grieving very beautifully. Like, I was just, like, amazed, but she told me, like, you know, it wasn't as beautiful as I think. And that's just with a lot of people, because people always tell me, like, Leon, you're so strong, and you really, you know, were just so strong the whole time. I wish I had your strength. And I wasn't strong at all. I was very weak. I was tired. It was like I had no fight in me. And there were times where I didn't want to fight. I wanted to give in the towel. I wanted to give up because it was too hard. And I feel like being an only child, you have it even harder because you're going through it alone. So you don't have, like, you know, your siblings to really kind of, you know, help you. And for me, no one in my family, I believe, has experienced a loss like that, like a close loss like that, to where it's a parent. So I think I wasn't the first one, because my cousins, they experienced it too, but they were very, very young. And they didn't really, you know, not saying that they didn't have a relationship with their mother, but they were young. For me, I had a lot of years with my mom, so losing her, it was just kind of hard. But yeah, it's just really crazy how you can just, you look so happy and beautiful on the outside, but inside you are just down and you're ready to give in the towel. That's why it's very important to check on your friends, call them, text them, and, you know, when they say, oh, I'm fine. That's why when I say, like, how are you, I say, how are you mentally, physically, and spiritually? I don't want to hear, oh, I'm okay, it's cool. No, how are you? What's really going on? Like, tell me what's really going through your mind. And sometimes, they don't want to talk about it. But if you know that there's something wrong with them and they're just not ready to talk about it, just be patient. Don't push them unless you know that they need to be pushed or they're the ones that like to be pushed. Because I like to be pushed. Like, when I say nothing's wrong with me, there's something wrong with me, but I need you to push it out of me or else I'm not going to say it. So I need you to kind of push me. So those are, some people are like that. But check on them, call them, tell them how proud you are of them. Like, for me, when it comes to my sibling, my brother, he went through a really hard time, and he was living in California by himself, no family, but I knew he was not okay. And every morning I would just send him very encouraging text messages. I would tell him, like, you are a king, you are successful, you are powerful, I'm proud of you, you got this, you're going to change the world, just so he can kind of, read that, and it will, as he's reading it, he will start to slowly believe it. It will slowly start to come to him. I told him, you're going to be successful, you're going to do big things someday, you got this, like, don't give up. Continue to push through and do your dreams. And it's so crazy because now he is a rapper, and he's in the process of becoming a rapper, and he's signed to a label, and he's doing things that he didn't think he would ever do. And it's just, you gotta check on your friends and family too as well, especially if they lost someone. Just be very respectful. Like, for me, I don't know about you, but I hate it. And I don't even like to use that word, but I hated when people would tell me, don't cry. It's okay.
Yeah, because it's like you're taking away the permission to grieve. It's like you're saying, don't cry, be strong, but you need that permission to be weak sometimes. Yes, it's like you need to cry it out and get it out. And I understand what Liana was saying about, people who have never lost a parent. And I think it's different. Like, when you lose a grandparent, or I can't really speak upon a sibling because I'm an only child, but when you lose a family member versus a parent, I think it's two different grieving processes. Or like a friend. It's two different grieving processes. And these are the people that brought you into this world. Right. So it's definitely a different process. And like Liana was saying earlier about how she thought that I was...
I thought she was fine. Like, she handled everything so smoothly.
And it's definitely not what it looked like at all. I definitely struggled with my faith a lot. Like, I became an atheist, or I guess agnostic mostly, because I started questioning, what I was taught as a child, and was dabbing a little bit with atheist comedians and, documentaries and just some really scary stuff that a Christian should not be doing. But not only that, I started, drinking really bad. I didn't become an alcoholic, but I never pick up the bottle. I rarely have a glass of wine. Right. It's on a special occasion. But, I would drink to try to numb my pain. I lost my virginity before I was even ready to. Like, I told myself from the time I was 14 that I would wait until marriage. Like, I had a purity ring, just to kind of remind me if I got myself into a situation. But the time that I lost my virginity, I wasn't even wearing my purity ring. Like, I had stuffed it in a box and was like, I'm done with this. Right. I'm going to lose my virginity because I want to and because I think I'm ready. And I was not ready. I'm thinking about how, I went through the pregnancy scare and, so any of you listeners out there, you have a purity ring, you're thinking about waiting until marriage, definitely wait until marriage. It's a beautiful experience that should be, kept for your spouse. Because soul ties are a thing.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about soul ties in a future episode, but soul ties are real. And just because you think that, your situation is just a fling, no, it's not. Your soul is going to be attached to that person, and it's going to be a big process to try to unattach your soul to that person. So do keep that in mind. And I'm proud of Liana because I think, she said that she's still a virgin, and I am proud of her. Because that's not easy, guys. I waited until I was 21, and, I was dealing with lust, and, I had a pornography addiction at one point.
Me too.
And so it's definitely hard to wait, but it is worth waiting for. And so, yeah, I would just say, honestly, through your grieving process, keep your faith, go to church, get plugged in, go to life groups, go to a Bible study, connect yourself with people who are going to understand. If you need to go to a support group, go to a support group. But don't get to the point where you are, questioning your faith. More so, you should dive more into the word than you did before you dealt with this. So,
yeah, I definitely agree with Courtney. I want to dive into just about the virginity stuff like that, because for me, I personally, when I was younger, I was not waiting for marriage. I was going to have sex as soon as I get a boyfriend, because at a very young age, pornography and lust was on me. And I'm talking about I was 5 years old and it was on me. How did it get on me? We don't know, but spirits jump on you. And I've been battling with that. So I always said I'm going to have sex when I get a boyfriend, and when I get my first boyfriend, I'm going to do this. And I was ready, planned it out and everything. But as I became more older and I got involved into Bible study, I realized that, when you have sex with someone, you become connected. And when you lay down with them, you get back up, you're a different person.
That is very true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I wish I could explain it more how my Aunt Bear explained it to us, but that's something that I held on to when I was in high school, and I was from then on there, no, I'm not ready. I gotta hold on to this till I get married. And another thing, if you are a virgin and you are in your 20s, your 30s, or your 40s, don't be embarrassed. It's a beautiful thing. I struggle with that because I kind of felt embarrassed because everyone around me was losing it. And when I tell people I'm a virgin, it was you're not a virgin, you're lying. What I gotta lie for? But then people would say, you're lying, and they would say, oh, you haven't had none yet? Girl, what is you waiting on? And a lot of the time, I would always get this quote, don't you want to test it out first before you marry it? When you first get a car, you gotta test it out. You don't just buy it. And I'd be oh, I get it, but I'm a virgin, so I don't know what's good or bad. I don't really need to test anything out because I'm not going to know what's good and what's bad. And I am 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. And for the ladies out there, if you are a virgin or you want to be a virgin, but your boyfriend is kind of on some, if you love me, you'll do it type stuff, leave him, boo-boo, because a real gentleman will have no problem with waiting. And he will accept the fact that you are a virgin, and he's not going to want to